What's up everyone, EJ here and welcome to the I Am Project, where I simply hope to spark a bit of curiosity when it comes to the topic of consciousness. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So today we'll be discussing the reality of non-human intelligence. We are not alone. Let's jump right in. The fundamental truth we must accept: the universe is too vast for us to be alone. When you look up at the night sky, you're witnessing billions of stars in our galaxy alone. And there are billions of galaxies beyond that. The sheer mathematical probability make it almost impossible that Earth hosts the only intelligent life in existence. The numbers simply don't lie. With billions of potential habitable planets, the odds overwhelmingly favor other intelligent beings. Science and logic support this. Astronomers, physicists, mathematicians increasingly acknowledge that extraterrestrial intelligence is statistically inevitable. And here is the uncomfortable truth: denial is a choice, not a rational position. Rejecting this possibility without research reflects a limited worldview, not critical thinking. We need to also separate two distinct questions in this topic. First, does other intelligent life exist in the universe? The answer is certainly yes. Second, have we been visited by non-human intelligence? The answer is that evidence suggests yes, but this requires deeper investigation, and I would even add on personal investigation. The first question shouldn't require personal proof to accept. It's a logical conclusion based on scale and probability. Demanding to see it to believe it for something this fundamental reveals a lack of perspective. It's like standing in the forest and refusing to believe other forests exist because you haven't personally visited them. The evidence: where there's smoke, there's fire. Historical and cross-cultural patterns. Ancient civilizations across the globe share remarkably similar accounts of beings from the sky, advanced knowledge appearing suddenly, and encounters with non-human intelligence. These aren't isolated stories. They form a pattern spanning continents and millennia. From Sumerian tablets to Sanskrit writings, indigenous oral histories to Egyptian hieroglyphics, descriptions of sky people and advanced visitors appear repeatedly in ancient texts and artifacts. We see architectural mysteries, structures like the pyramid, Pumapunku, and others that demonstrate knowledge seemingly inconsistent with technology available at that time. And there are consistent themes across cultures: flying objects, beings of light, advanced wisdom shared with humanity. These themes appear in traditions that had no contact with each other, well, at least according to, mainstream narratives. Researchers like Jacques Vallée and Diana Pasulka have documented how these phenomena don't fit neatly into our materialistic worldview. Vallée's work particularly shows that UFOs or UAP encounters follow patterns that suggest intelligence, intention, and a connection to human consciousness itself. Modern testimony and encounters. The phenomenon hasn't stopped, it's ongoing. Credible witnesses from every walk of life continue to report experiences that challenge our understanding of reality. Military and government personnel, pilots, radar operators, and officials have documented encounters with craft displaying technology beyond our current capabilities. Scientists and academics, figures like Dr. Gary Nolan, a Stanford immunologist, and the late Dr. John E. Mack, a Harvard psychiatrist, have studied these phenomena seriously, finding consistent patterns in abduction accounts and physical evidence. And it's not just officials and experts. Everyday people worldwide, from farmers, police officers, teachers, and professionals across cultures, report similar experiences, often at great personal and professional risk. The consistency is striking. When people who have never met from different countries and time periods describe nearly identical beings, craft, and experiences, we must ask, what's the common thread? The consciousness connection. This is where things get truly interesting, and personally, my favorite part. The phenomenon doesn't just involve physical craft. It consistently intersects with altered states of consciousness, spiritual experiences, and the nature of reality itself. Many report encounters with intelligent entities during psychedelic experiences with substances like DMT, ayahuasca, and psilocybin. Entities that sometimes convey similar messages to those in UFO encounters. Practitioners like Robert Monroe documented non-physical realms inhabited by intelligent beings through out-of-body experiences, suggesting consciousness may not be limited to physical brains. Deep meditative states often lead to experiences of connection with broader intelligence or contact experiences. And Dr. John E. Mack's abduction research showed that many experiencers undergo profound spiritual transformation, suggesting that phenomenon operates on multiple levels. Researchers studying consciousness like Dr. Donna Hoffman, Thomas Campbell, and Dr. Joe Dispenza are revealing that reality may be fundamentally consciousness-based rather than purely material. This framework makes the alien and ET phenomenon less about nuts and bolts, spacecrafts, and more about different forms of intelligence interacting across dimensions or states of consciousness. Ain't that crazy? Man, I love that stuff. Why this matters? You might be asking yourself, why does this matter? The implications for humanity. The greatest shift in human history. If we truly acknowledge that we're not alone and have been visited, everything changes. This isn't hyperbole. It's a logical consequence of such a revelation. Consider what this means. Our place in the cosmos shifts entirely. We're not the pinnacle of creation or the center of the universe. We're one species among many in a vast, intelligent cosmos. Our history gets rewritten. Much of what we think we know about human development, ancient civilizations, and our origins would need reevaluation. Our understanding of reality expands. If consciousness can exist beyond biological bodies, if beings can traverse dimensions or vast distances, then reality is far more complex and beautiful than mainstream science currently admits, and our potential becomes unlimited. If these phenomena are real, it suggests capabilities, telepathy, consciousness expansion, advanced technology, intradimensional travel that we might develop ourselves. Imagine that. The awakening effect. This knowledge fundamentally shifts perspective. It's not about obsessing over aliens. It's about what this awakening does to our worldview. When you truly integrate this knowing, tribal division dissolves. National borders, racial categories, religious conflicts, they all seem absolutely small when you realize we're one species on one planet in a cosmos teeming with intelligence. Environmental consciousness emerges naturally. You want to protect and honor this planet because you see it as our shared home in a much larger neighborhood. Materialism loses its grip. The consumer-driven, ego-focused lifestyle feels hollow when you glimpse the deeper nature of reality and consciousness. Spiritual questions become central. Who are we? What is consciousness? What is our purpose? These questions move from abstract philosophical to urgent practical inquiries, and unity consciousness develops. You begin to identify as a member of Earth's humanity rather than just a nationality, a religion, or a social group. Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell experienced this shift profoundly during his moon missions, a moment he called the overview effect, combined with a deep knowing that consciousness is fundamental to the universe. His later research into consciousness and the ET phenomenon stemmed from this transformative experience. Connection to personal transformation. This topic intersects directly with self-improvement, manifestation, and consciousness expansion. Here is why. Consciousness is primary. If reality is consciousness-based, as quantum physics and researchers like Hoffman and Campbell suggest, then our thoughts, intentions, and awareness literally shape our experience. We're more than physical bodies. Understanding that intelligence exists beyond physical form opens the door to explore your own non-physical nature through meditation, out-of-body experiences, and expanded awareness. Limitation is learned. If other beings possess abilities we consider impossible, it suggests our own limitations are largely self-imposed. And we're interconnected. The phenomenon often conveys messages of unity, ecological responsibility, and the interconnectedness of all consciousness, principles central to spiritual awakening. Researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza demonstrate how changing your consciousness changes your biology and reality. This isn't separate from the ET phenomenon, it's the same principle. Both point to consciousness as a fundamental creative force. The path forward, from denial to discovery, moving past self-deception. We must acknowledge our psychological barriers. Humans are excellent at avoiding uncomfortable truths, especially ones that threaten our worldview. Common defense mechanisms include ridicule. Making the topic taboo through mockery prevents serious investigation. There's denial, simply refusing to look at evidence because it's too challenging. Compartmentalization allows us to acknowledge the possibility intellectually while living as if it's not true, and demanding impossible proof. Setting the bar so high, like I need a spacecraft to land on my lawn, means you never have to change your mind. Growing up means facing uncomfortable realities. Children believe their parents know everything and their home is the whole world. Adults recognize their parents are human and their home is one of billions. Humanity needs to make this same transition cosmically. Taking responsibility for your own investigation. Don't take anyone's word for it, including mine. This isn't about blind belief. It's about honest inquiry. Here are practical steps that I would recommend for exploration. First, study the patterns. Read researchers like Jacques Vallée, Diana Pasulka, and John E. Mack who approach this academically. Second, examine consciousness directly. Practice meditation. Explore breathwork, or safely and legally investigate consciousness expanding practices. Third, look at the testimony. Watch documentaries. Listen to credible witnesses. Channels that I would recommend personally would be YouTube channels like Area 52, American Alchemy, and Eyes on Cinema, who provide good starting points. Fourth, question your assumptions. What beliefs about reality are you protecting? Why? Fifth, connect the dots. See how the phenomenon relates to quantum physics, consciousness studies, ancient history, and spiritual traditions. And finally, stay grounded. Acknowledgement doesn't mean losing your critical thinking. It means expanding what you're willing to consider. The key is balance. You don't need to have all the answers or claim absolute truth. You simply need to be open to the evidence and willing to follow where honest investigation leads. Integration without obsession. This awareness should enhance your life, not consume it. The goal isn't to become fixated on aliens. It's to let this knowing inform a richer, more expansive way of living. Healthy integration looks like this. Expanded curiosity, where you remain open to mystery while functioning effectively in daily life. Deeper meaning, where your work, relationships, and choices gain significance within a cosmic context. Reduced fear, as understanding that consciousness continues and we're part of something vast reduces existential anxiety. Increased responsibility, where recognizing we're only one humanity on one planet motivates ethical actions and environmental care. An ongoing exploration, where you continue learning about consciousness, reality, and the phenomenon without needing final answers. Think of it like discovering you have neighbors. Once you know they exist, you don't spend every moment obsessing about them, but the knowledge changes how you see your place in the neighborhood. You must be more curious, more friendly, more aware that your actions affect a larger community. The Greater Awakening, what this reveals about reality. Reality is consciousness based. This convergence of quantum physics, consciousness research, and the ET phenomenon point to a radical conclusion. Consciousness isn't produced in the brain. It's fundamental to reality itself. Dr. Donald Hoffman's research suggests that space-time and physical objects are not fundamental reality, but rather an interface, like a computer desktop, that consciousness uses to interact. Thomas Campbell's My Big Toe, or Theory of Everything, proposes that reality is a virtual information system and consciousness is a fundamental substrate. And quantum mechanics demonstrates that observation affects reality at the most basic level, suggesting consciousness plays a role in manifesting the physical world. The ET phenomenon fits this model perfectly. If consciousness is primary, then intelligent beings might interact with us through consciousness-based means, exploring telepathy, the connection to altered states, and why the phenomenon seems to operate partially outside our physical laws. We're participants, not spectators. This understanding has profound implications for how we live. Your consciousness matters. Your thoughts, intentions, and awareness actually influence your reality. This is the basis of manifestation and the law of attraction. You're creative, not reactive. Rather than being a victim of external circumstances, you're a co-creator of your existence. Growth is possible. If consciousness is fundamental and expandable, there is no limit to what we can learn, experience, and become. And connection is real. The sense of separation is an illusion. At the level of consciousness, we're interconnected with all intelligence in the universe. This is why the ET phenomenon ties directly to self-improvement and awakening. They're different aspects of the same truth. Consciousness is creative, expansive, and far more than we've been taught. The beautiful complexity of existence. Accepting this reality doesn't diminish the mystery, it deepens it. Each answer leads to more questions, and that's exactly as it should be. You begin to see that life is far stranger and more wonderful than conventional worldviews suggest. We're in the early stages of understanding consciousness and reality. The universe is alive with intelligence, creativity, and purpose. Your individual journey of awakening connects to humanity's collective awakening, and there's always more to learn, experience, and discover. This knowing transforms how you move through the world. The material concerns that once seemed so important, status, possessions, ego validation, fade in significance. What matters becomes clear: growth, connection, understanding, love, and contributing to the human evolution. Call to action: your role in humanity's awakening. Personal responsibility. This isn't about waiting for disclosure or proof. It's about choosing to awaken now, regardless of what mainstream culture accepts. Here are concrete actions you can take. First, expand your consciousness. Develop a meditative practice. Explore breathwork or investigate safe methods of altered states. Second, educate yourself. Read the research mentioned. Watch documentaries. Study consciousness and quantum theory. Third, question everything. I'll say that again. Question everything, including what you are hearing right now. Question me. It doesn't matter. Don't believe me. Develop your own understanding through direct experience. Fourth, share thoughtfully. When appropriate, share this perspective with others who are ready, but don't force it on those who aren't. Fifth, live the implications. Let this awareness inform your choices. Be more compassionate, environmentally conscious, and focus on what truly matters. And finally, stay grounded. Balance exploration with practical responsibility in your daily life. Collective transformation. Individual awakening contributes to the collective awakening. As more people expand their consciousness and accept these realities, humanity's collective worldview shifts. We're at a turning point. More credible witnesses are coming forward. Governments are beginning to acknowledge UAP phenomenon. Consciousness research is gaining scientific legitimacy. Ancient wisdom is being interpreted with modern understanding. Every person who moves from denial to openness, from fear to curiosity, from separation to unity consciousness helps tilt the balance to humanity as a whole. The invitation. This is an invitation to grow as a species. Stop pretending we're alone. Stop living in self-imposed boxes and start embracing the magnificence, mysterious, consciousness-filled reality we're actually inhabiting. You don't need permission to expand it. You don't need official disclosure or scientific consensus. You can begin investigating consciousness, researching the phenomenon, and expanding your awareness right now. The question isn't whether this is real. The evidence is overwhelming for those willing to look. The question is, are you ready to step out of your comfortable illusion and into the beautiful complexity of actual reality? The universe is vast. It's alive and aware. We're not isolated biological accidents on a random rock. We're conscious beings in a cosmos teeming with intelligence, participating in something far grander than we've imagined. It's time to wake up. It's not individuality, it's collectively. The greatest event in human history isn't something that will happen to us. It's something we're already a part of. We're choosing to see it. Welcome to the awakening. The adventure is just beginning. That's all for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys think. Please like and subscribe if even a little bit of this is entertaining or helpful. And as always, remember you're loved, you're awesome, and on to the next one.